Dear students, welcome to another episode of the IELTS Success Journey. So I'm Ms. Utpala. I think you know me by now. So today we are going to look at some tips and techniques to succeed at IELTS exam. Let's look at what IELTS is and how you can prepare yourself to get a really good score like band 7, 8 and 9. I have produced actually band 9 scorers in IELTS, I think for the past 16 years. So even from Sri Lanka. So I think you can actually attain that score very easily with the tips and techniques that I'm going to provide through this video series as well. So let's start. So if we have a look at what IELTS is, it actually stands for International English Language Testing System. So this exam actually verifies your English language proficiency to enter a foreign university or to work abroad in a Western country or for any work purpose. They require a certain score from you that you have to attain in order to be accessible to that country to work or to migrate as a student. So for many reasons, people require IELTS as a English language testing exam to show their scores to the respective uh, organizations. Right. So this is me. I'm Ms. Utpala. I've got all these qualifications. Plus, I've been a senior university lecturer of English around 5 to 6 universities in Sri Lanka and online. So let's have a look at what we can do to improve our IELTS score. Now, when you do, first of all, I'll introduce you what IELTS is. IELTS has actually 4 sections: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. So basically, there are 4 areas that you need to improve to be an expert user of English. So that's why they're testing not only writing and speaking, but also reading and listening. So first thing you can do is you can take a practice test as a mock test and see where you stand first of all with regards to reading, writing, listening, speaking, all 4. Then you can understand the test format very cleverly. How is the reading test formed, how is the writing test formed, how is the listening test formed, and how does the speaking test work out. And then it will help you to understand the test format. Understanding the test format is highly important. You want to get expert guidance for that, and then you have to master the techniques for each paper, because it's like running with the time. So students are telling it's quite hard to get a really good score for my speaking test, or maybe the listening test, or maybe the reading test. That's because they're not aware of the time. You have to time and do the papers, right? So be aware of the exam time constraints. That's very important. You have to know like how much time am I allocated to do this. For example, now if you take the listening paper, within the given period of time, you have to listen to that, and then you have to answer all the 40 questions, and then they give an extra 10 minutes to transfer your answers to answer sheet. But when it comes to the reading paper, students do not get that extra 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer script. Answer sheet. You have to manage within the given 1 hour, 60 minutes, while writing the answers on the answer sheet. So these are little things that we have to know. And also for each section type, you need to improve your skimming, scanning, and reading for meaning. So these kind of things, these techniques are important to do your reading paper. So we will be looking at all of these in the classes. So develop your English capabilities and IELTS strategies. This requires the overall proficiency or overall fluency of your English language knowledge. So that means you have to develop all 4 areas: reading, writing, listening, speaking in English. Not just focus on one skill and think that, oh, I'm going to get a very good score for this. But no, it's not going to work. You have to actually develop as an overall user, and then also you have to do a lot of practice, take mock tests and practice tests. And then multitask when listening to English. When you listen to English, when you listen to podcasts, or when you listen to BBC, CNN, or maybe it can be anything like, radio, a channel, or watch TV. So you have to multitask while listening to English, because at the exam, it's a kind of a multitask. You have to listen and simultaneously read and write the answers on the answer sheet. But nowadays in Sri Lanka, we have only the computer-based exam. So we have to practice training ourselves to pick the answers on the screen itself. And then develop a wide range of reading skills. Reading skills in the sense, what are the reading skills in English? Those are like skimming, scanning, reading for meaning. So these are things like that. And then you can develop your potential in your reading paper as well. So reading, writing, listening, speaking, all four skills are mandatory to be mastered in order to get a really good score at your IELTS exam. So if I just give you a brief about some tips that is important. You have to use a range of grammatical structures in order to impress the examiner, because they'll be looking at not only active sentences, passive sentences, long constructions, use of connectives. Don't memorize answers, but it's always good to use a format. Actually, I'm providing the format at the class, so you can actually easily score. That's how my students easily get 7+ in the exam. So asking for clarification is very important at the exam situation. If you cannot understand anything, you can always hands up and get clarification from the examiner, and you have to do a really good thorough practice for 1 month or 1.5 months or 2 months. It depends on where you stand at present. So it's really necessary to do a placement exam and verify where you stand. That's how we do at our academy. We do a placement test to verify where you stand with regards to your grammatical knowledge and your vocabulary. And then based on that, I'll be teaching all that beforehand, before you prepare for the IELTS exam. Do not write a script. Be confident when you speak. When it comes to speaking, you have to be very confident in your speech. You should know what you're speaking and to whom you're speaking and about what you're speaking. The fluency should be there. The accuracy should be there. Good vocabulary should be used. Many things are there. So don't take long courses. For that, actually, it will be very helpful to join our classes, because we'll be giving you certain phrases and words that you can use. You can actually memorize and use it to sound like a native speaker. You can get a really good score. You can nail the exam very well. So don't take long courses. Ensure the answers remain relevant. So these things are important. Learn more about IELTS mock test. Mock test taking is highly important, and also listening practice is highly important. We do around 100 conversations. That means 25 mock tests in the class. Pay attention to spelling and punctuation when it comes to the writing paper, because if you have spelling errors, you will score less. And if your punctuation, there are punctuation errors like capital, simple, comma, full stops, those things, then it will score you less. Plan your training for IELTS reading as well. Speak very clearly at the speaking exam. Take a practice test, because for the speaking test, if you go to the exam room, so the moment that you enter the room, you'll be recorded. So you have to speak very clearly to the microphone. Take a practice test and develop your vocabulary, expand your vocabulary every day. Whatever the words that you're getting to your encounter, please note it down, and then you can actually Google it and get some synonyms. Use a good encyclopedia or a dictionary and get the meaning from there, and learn how to pronounce the word as well. Know areas to improve. You have to know in which areas you are lacking. Like, is it reading? Is it writing? Is it speaking? Even if you take reading, is it topic matching, or is it true false not given questions, or is it gap filling questions? Like that, you'll be aware. When it comes to the speaking test, there are 3 parts. So in which part are you scoring less? That you have to practice with the expert tutor. No areas to improve. That's very important. And when it comes to the reading paper and listening paper and even the speaking paper, you have to read the instructions very carefully, what you are expected to do. Take a practice test every day. Guide your preparation by taking a practice test to start with, and identify your weaknesses and strengths in English. That's very important. This is the key to your initial preparation that will help you know where your strengths and weaknesses are. Not only it is necessary to improve on your weaknesses, but it is equally essential to build up on your strengths to create a solid foundation for the examination. So these things are very important. Understand the test format. That is the main thing. Before you start practicing, it's extremely vital. What is vital? What is important? You know what to expect on the test day. What is the test format? To what exam am I preparing myself? Familiarize yourself. Don't just just do 1 or 2 mock tests and go and sit the exam. You won't get a good score. Trust me, I have got like students who have actually got like 6 to 7 times failures, repeated the exams because of not knowing like the techniques and time management, all these things. So familiarize yourself with it by reviewing your content of the test, as well as the question and task that's for each question. Remember, the main thing to success at an examination is not just IELTS. Just don't prepare for IELTS itself. You have to know about the test pattern and test format beforehand. Very important. Okay. And then be aware of the exam time. Conduct your preparation by timing so you become accustomed to the pace of the test. That's very important. Then develop your English capabilities and English IELTS strategies, means the techniques. One of the biggest mistakes students do is focus only on IELTS. They do lots of IELTS practice tests, but they forget to improve their English. This is the overall English fluency marking test, okay, scoring test. So most IELTS learners are unaware of their current level of English, which is often intermediate or below. And do not consider or forget that IELTS is an English proficiency test. As such, your English should be top notch. Keep in mind that learning IELTS is a process. On average, it requires time to move up to a band score by 1 point. If you want to move by one band score, it takes some time. It takes some rigorous practice under expert guidance. So start preparing for your test at least 2 or 3 months prior to that. If you are really poor in English, then you can go for like maybe 2 to 3 months, not 2 to 3 months, maybe 3 to 4 months prior to your exam. Don't wait till the last minute to do the exam. Choose an expert tutor. Our former students highly recommend our academy, which will help you with English development and IELTS strategies, because I have produced band 9 scorers. And usually I keep my student records about 6.5, 7.5, that range. So it's proven. So then multitask when listening to English. That's very important. You will have to provide answers to 40 questions through 4 recordings. So the recordings will be played once only. And the typical questions we have some typical questions like gap filling, summary completion, form completion, multiple choice, like that. So we will have to, there are strategies or techniques for each of these question types, which we will be discussing in the class. Then it's important. And then you have to pick like 10 to 20 questions of that question type and see whether you can get 5 out of 5, 6 out of 6, like that to that particular question type. That's how we develop. So it is essential to understand how to follow a conversation and to continue answering the next questions. If you lack something, that is also important. These kind of things are highly important. And then develop a wide range of reading talents. So reading also requires some talents. The main purpose of the reading module, what is it? To test a wide range of reading abilities or skills. Reading for gist, reading for main ideas, reading for detail, skimming, understanding logical argument, and recognizing writers' opinions and purpose. These things are highly important. Test takers have to provide short answers, match information, complete sentences, match topics, complete labels. So there are many things that they ask you to do. Ensure your practice includes a wide variety of questions so that you become accustomed to each type. So that is also important. Timing is of the essence of the module, and you simply have the time to go through the text many times, right? So that's very important. You will not have time to go through the text many times. You don't have to know even what is there in the text if you know the strategies to ace your reading paper, right? So I'll be teaching you the strategies. You don't have to know what's there in the passage even. You can first read the question and quickly skim and get to the point and read it there and get the answer one time. So there are strategies to help you to avoid this situation. For example, how to skim the text, what kind of info you need to focus on. These kind of things are important, and rigorous practice is what we require for that. The number of hours you put for practice is very important. So we offer you a range of hours that you can choose from. So it depends on the score that you require actually. So use appropriate and assertive language terms when writing, because they require you formal writing, even if it is general or academic, even if it is general, even if when it comes to the letter writing, that's a letter writing for the general students for task 1. There they expect you to write formally, not just hey, hi, what's up, hey, dude. Students write like that. You don't get marks like that, right? So you have to write in a formal way, even if it is general writing, even if it is an informal letter, you have to write like that. So the writing module is perhaps one that is, the students say it's really hard. Both tasks of the academic training must be written with a formal style. Don't worry about it. I'll be providing the format. You just have to fill in the blanks, but your English and the vocabulary should be up to the mark for that. So for that also we'll be giving a training before starting the course. So task one requires that you describe and explain data for the academic students, which you may be an expert, and this requires significant practice in English, but you don't have to know various statistical data or anything to do this task. It's very simple English that they require. As long as your English is good and varying, you get really good marks for this. Vocabulary should be up to the mark, up to the point, and also you have to use connectives for that. Task 2 presents a number of challenges. Often the topic given can be hard to develop if you are not familiar with it. For that also you don't have to worry. I'm going to provide a format. You can memorize it and use it. The essay must have a proper structure. Structure in the sense there should be a proper introduction, at least 3 middle paragraphs, and a proper conclusion, because there should be a flow to your answer, right? So we'll be discussing all these things in the class. And you should use appropriate language to complete task 1 questions, like line graphs, column charts, pie charts, tables, multiple data sources and processes are also there. Maps are also there for task 1 for the academic students. For task 2, it will be the essay. For that preparation, familiarize yourself with the structure of an essay, how to develop it, how to write the introduction, the conclusion. You must be able to connect your ideas using appropriate English. That means the use of linkers, linking words, or connectives. Practice writing about topics that are common on the IELTS so you become very familiar with them. These things are highly important. And then when it comes to the speaking part, speak with confidence and coherence. Coherence in the sense you have to speak with good connectives. This test is less than 15 minutes. Actually, trust me, the students who got 9, actually, they were only questioned for 5 minutes. I have some students who got 9 for IELTS speaking. So they were only questioned only for 5 minutes in the exam. They were not even questioned for 14 to 15 minutes, right? It depends on how much flair you show even in the part 1. There are 3 parts to this exam. The first 5 minutes is reserved for the introduction and general topics like about you, what do you do on your daily routine, what's your best, what's your favorite color, what do you do as a hobby, where do you stay, tell me something about your academic life or your job, things like that, general things. So the second part, the examiner will be assessing you on by giving you a random topic on a cue card or a task card. They give it you a printed one where you have to look at it and speak about it for 2 minutes. You have 1 minute preparation time. You have to talk about it for 2 minutes. And the third merely adds complexity to the second. At this stage, the examiner will also pay attention to pronunciation, lexical resource, and smoothness, right? Your fluency. Practicing each part with an expert tutor is very essential to your test preparation. You need to be able to write notes that will help you to talk for a few minutes during the second part of the test. You should also practice answering questions when you don't really know the answer, because there will be questions that the examiner puts. If you are like proficiency level is good, the examiner will be posing some questions that are hard to answer. So you should know how to manage those questions as well. What kind of phrases am I going to say? Is this IQ test? Absolutely not. You just have to naturally speak. Remember that your knowledge is not as is, but your English language proficiency is. So they are checking your English language proficiency, not your IQ proficiency. Okay. So don't worry about that. So basically we have listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So the moment that you decide to do the test, what you have to do is you have to totally immerse yourself in English. Immersing yourself in English is in the sense expose yourself to as much language as possible. Because we are living in a non-native English-speaking countries, what happens is we do not hear, we do not listen, we do not speak, or we do not write often in English. So that is a flow in the sense like it is a disadvantage when it comes to IELTS practicing. So what we have to do is we have to artificially create a situation where we actually be with English 24/7. For that, I have a method that I have developed, and that really works. And the students actually get really good scores because of that for all 4 papers. So expose yourself to as much English as you can alongside your test preparation. Read things that interest you in English, because websites are there nowadays. You don't have to, go to libraries to read anything. Online, everything is available, magazines, blogs, right? Those are some great places to start. Write some English every day as well by writing in a journal, keeping a blog, communicating with an online community, such as people on a Facebook group that share a curiosity with you. So these things are important. Listen to native speakers very often because we have to tune our ears to understand the native speakers' pronunciation. Various native speakers, not only British, but also American, Australian, Asian, right? All sorts of native speakers. So talking to one another, and if it is possible, it's really good if you can join some groups and talk, or you can definitely practice it with the examiner on a what do you call your preparation tutor on a one-to-one basis. Try the shadowing technique. What is the shadowing technique? Have you heard about this? This involves repeating what someone has just said in English. That's very important. That's a good technique. This will help with pronunciation. Okay, so you have to repeat what someone had just said in English. That means it requires good retention power, and then also your ability to express language in English like a native speaker. So we'll be doing a lot of read alouds as well, right, in class, right? So if I talk about my academy and our programs available, we are an online academy. We are doing what do you call Zoom teaching only uh, as of now, after the COVID period. So we are our programs. We have the group program for 1 month, and then also we have the group program with grammar for the students who are struggling, who do not have the base. So I'll be teaching even using Sinhalese. Don't worry, I'll be teaching in Sinhalese. But this session I thought of doing fully in English. So we have the program with grammar for 2 months. And then one-to-one programs, individual programs are also available for 30 hours, 40 hours, or 50 hours, depending on the number of hours you require. Some go for 60 hours or 65 hours as well. And then we have the fast track program, 6 to 10 days. Some students I have produced actually band 7.5 within 1 week. So that's possible, right? But I had to take sessions morning, evening like that with the students. So you can go for even 7.5 within 1 week. So this is my contact number. You can reach me out on this number, or you can WhatsApp me and then join our classes. And the students who are still struggling with the IELTS or grammar, don't worry. I'll be using first language, that means Sinhalese, to explain everything to you in Sinhalese as well if you need. It depends on the student's requirement. Right. Okay. So these are the things I would like to say, tell you. Thank you. I hope that you enjoyed the session. So have a great day. Have a great day, everyone.